What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on Buy Sell Cars TV. Today, what are we doing? So we are talking about this Ford Focus I got over here. I recently took this in a part exchange to the Mazda 3, which I had for sale. So I thought I'm going to do a video on this car as I got it as a part exchange, and also because it is in a bit of a state, especially in the interior. You're going to see in a second anyway, it's really not a nice place to sit. Probably one of the dirtiest cars I've ever bought or taken in as part exchange. So this is going to be a really good one to see the transformation. So we're going to get onto that later. But also, this car's got a little bit of a misfire. The engine light comes on when I really sort of put my foot down. Hesitations. It could be leads or plugs. Customer sort of advised that it was a slipping clutch, but after driving the car now, don't think that's the case. But we're going to find out later on in the video. But for now, let me give you a walk around of the car. The outside, not too bad, but I'll show you that now. But the interior is something you want to be prepared for. So let's get on with the video. So let's start on the outside. 2008 car, it's a facelift Ford Focus. It's a 1.6 petrol. It's done about 140 odd thousand miles. So it's done a bit of mileage, but good solid cars. It's got a couple of wounds on the car as you'd expect on this age, but a little bit of a dent over there on the wing. Bodywork wise across the panels here, not too bad. It is just a bit dirty, but I guess once the car's clean, we're going to see if there are any other more imperfections on the car. The reason why I wasn't too fussed is because it is a part exchange, and obviously if the value of the car, because it needs a bit of work, there's only so much you can expect. For example, little things like this dink over there, that is, you can't even argue or make a point of that. It is a used car, guys. It's done 140 odd thousand miles. Going around the back, still looks pretty clean. Most obvious thing we have over here is on the rear quarter and bumper. So a little bit of a knock, tiny bit of rust over here. So this could potentially be sanded, polished, and then a bit of touch-up paint on there just to make it better than what it is. But we're going to see about that as we get the car prepped. The other thing I've just noticed, which I hadn't seen before, is this panel here. There's a slight little gap there. That's because it's had a little knock on this part of the arch. Again, nothing too major, but you know, the brunt of it on this side is that over there. A little scuff over here, and obviously like this, what we touched on a second ago. Going down the passenger side, it's all looking pretty good, nothing too drastic. Little mark over here on the front of the bumper. The strangest thing is in the headlight. I don't know if you lot would have picked it up already, but this was also included in the part exchange deal. So it comes with a couple of insects which are embedded in the headlight. Not much I can really do about that unless I took the headlight apart, but yeah. The other thing which needs doing, 2 front tires, so they need to be replaced at some point very, very soon. So quick overview on the outside, pretty good. Let's check out the interior. So as we go into the interior, you can see it has seen better days. Everywhere you look, there is mud, there is staining, there is dirt, and I mean in every little nook and cranny. Look at that. Everywhere you can see there is just dirt. So this car really is going to benefit from getting the valet done, which I always seem to bang on about. But this is definitely going to be one where you're really going to get to see the transformation. Just look at that. It looks like this car hasn't been hoovered in over a year. I'm not even joking. Let's check out the back and see if it's any better. So, over in the back, I want to say it's better, but I'm going to lightly use that word better because there is still a massive amount of stainage and dirt to the seats. Carpets aren't necessarily as bad, it just really needs a bit of a hoover. But you know, it looks like there's some, you know, maybe dog hairs in the back, old cans, all the sort of stuff which is not too difficult to clean, but definitely dog hair or something around here. So overall, looking on the interior, it's not the cleanest of cars, but I'm sure you would have seen that now in the slow-mos. But that is the overview of the exterior and interior. So it's a thumbs down for this one. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of the current condition the car is in. Like I said, the interior is what needs a transformation doing to it, but we're in a position where things like that aren't too expensive to get done, thankfully, to the car wash guys. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head over to the valeters, get it dropped off, let them work their magic, and then we're going to carry on with this video once the transformation has been done to this car. I don't know yet what the plan is with this car, whether it's going to be retail ready or I'm going to sell it in the trade. So in regards to other work that needs doing to this car, such as the misfire, we'll talk about that later on in the video because I still need to get the computer plugged in, find out what the codes are, and sort of see what the plan is with this car. So for now, let's get it dropped off, and then I'm going to catch up with you once this interior is transformed. So I'll see you in a second, guys. Right, so we're back from getting the car valeted, and without further ado, let's jump in, and let's show you the difference on the transformation for the interior, because this was a horrible place to sit. I've probably put so many close-up shots of how bad it was, but smelly car, not a nice place to sit. So let's just jump in and let me show you. So now on first impressions, I want you guys to comment down below and let me know your thoughts on the difference of how it's looking now to what you saw a couple of moments ago in the video. You know, I'm not saying that it's perfect. There still is going to be a little bit of dirt, because you have to take into account the state that this car was in. But in terms of the seats, they are 9 out of 10 compared to what they were before. Now the back wasn't necessarily as bad of a place to start with, but it is very, very clean, especially when you look at the center part of the seat where the color is. It is looking a lot more cleaner. The bolster here could actually do with getting that done once more. I'm not too happy about that, to be honest with you, but these things do happen. Obviously, it was just very, very bad before, and where they have cleaned it, once it's dried, that dirt has come back up again because it hasn't been fully done properly. But that's not a big thing. But when you just look at the difference to what it was before, it's night and day, guys. Night and day. Really happy with this one. So hopefully that has shown you the massive change on the car, especially with the interior. You know, the biggest difference is when you get that valet done, it just transforms the car. And the thing I love the most is when a car is in this state, is you get to see the difference. Now, prior to getting the valet done, it was awful. I genuinely couldn't believe how some people just drive cars this dirty. It was a disgusting place to sit. It smelled everywhere. There was just dirt, you know, and all the little nooks and crannies. And don't get me wrong, there's still parts of the car which aren't perfect, but when you take into account where it was to where it is now, it's night and day. It's so much better. But anyway, let's go for a little drive, because I want to talk to you about a few things. I want to talk to you about how much I paid for this car first of all, and sort of how it came along. And also I mentioned before that I wasn't sure whether I'm going to get this car retail ready or just sell it out in the trade sort of as it is, just tidy up a bit. So we're going to get into that. We'll go for a quick little drive, talk about the facts and figures. So we'll talk about the cost of the car, things I've had to get done to it, and talk about the value of this car at retail value. So a couple of things to go over, but straight to the point. I know you guys like to know facts and figures and discuss how much profit and money there is. So we're going to do that in this video. So let's go for a drive now. So let's get straight to the point. How much did this car cost me? Well, it's a 2008 car. It's the facelift model, Ford Focus 1.6. Z-Tech. It's a petrol car, which is good. It means it's ULEZ compliant. For anyone who doesn't know, that's just to do with emissions around sort of central London. So if it is ULEZ compliant, people from the London market are more interested in potentially buying the car. Well, I paid £150 for this car. Now, I know you're probably thinking, how did you buy this car for £150? You can't buy cars anymore for £150. But this car came as a part exchange. I sold the Mazda 3, which I done a video on, I think. I'd done a video on that. Yes, I sold that car and I took this in as a part exchange. Just to give you a bit of backdrop on the deal. So the customer called, was interested in the Mazda, said he had a part exchange, faulty car. He said it had a few problems with it. It needed some tyres. The MOT was very, very short. The car had some problems. The customer actually told me that the clutch was slipping. There was a bit of like a judder with the car. The customer was going to just scrap the car and said, I'll be happy with £150. So I said, yeah, that's fine. I'll take it. I didn't even test drive the car because I was taking it in for £150. You know, for me, it was just a gamble. If I buy it and I can fix it, great. If I buy it and it's not really going to be, you know, economical for me to do so, I'll just put it back into trade, spares or repairs. I'll get my money out of it. Might make, you know, 200 quid or something, right? So that was how the deal came about. I was happy, sold a car, got a part exchange. Customer was happy because he got rid of a car that was junk to him and got him into a better car. So that's the deal. Now, upon inspection of the car, this is where things were a bit in my favor. So as I mentioned, I didn't test drive the car. But when I did take the car out, the first thing I noticed was that it was misfiring when I was driving. So there was a lot of hesitation. You'd give full acceleration and it was quite bad. If you drove slowly, it wasn't really doing it at the lower revs. So straight away I thought, you know, it could be maybe spark plugs or leads or anything along those lines, because I've had these issues before with other Fords. So I kept taking it for a drive. We was really pushing the car, just trying to work out when does the fault happen, how does it happen. And also I was trying to get the engine light to come on because the engine light wasn't on when I bought the car. And within a couple of minutes of driving it, of course, the engine light does come on because I was really forcing the car out of its comfort zone, especially when it's not firing on all cylinders. Got the car home, plugged it into the computer, and it said that cylinder 4 had a misfire. So straight away I thought, do you know what, this could be a good situation now, because obviously when I took the car in, the customer did mention that, oh, the clutch could be slipping. Now, The clutch wasn't slipping at all. The clutch is completely fine. It's actually probably halfway the way it feels now. So I knew that this is probably just a small thing. Got the car taken over to my mechanics. Now, mechanics even mentioned that these cars can suffer from getting water or moisture around the coils. It is a common thing with these engines, and when this happens, the car will misfire. So whilst the car was at the mechanic's garage, had to get MOT'd as well. It needed some tyres, which I knew at the time of when I was getting in the car. So 2 new rear tyres, had it MOT'd, and got the coil pack changed on the car. You wouldn't believe it, but the coil pack was the issue. The car has been driving spot on since, absolutely fantastic, not missed a beat. You wouldn't think it's done this sort of mileage, and it just goes to show, you know, it's not always a big thing. Sometimes when people have a used car and they want to get rid of it, they might think, oh, it's giving me too many problems. It's just well worth it having a little investigation to find out what could be the issue, because that coil pack, off the top of my head, was around £50. Now, it might have been more, it might have been less, but I know ballpark it was around that figure, and that has fixed this issue and made this car run perfect. So now if we add this up, so we're £30 on an MOT, 2 tyres were around £90, and then the coil pack another 50, and adding the valet into that as well, which was another £50. So that takes the grand total off the car to £370. Now, when you just think about that, that is a car which has been thoroughly checked over, 12 months MOT, new coil pack, the car's had 2 new tyres put on the back as well, valeted, making it smell fresh inside. All these things add value to the car, and the grand total being £370. That is not a lot of money, and I understand in this situation it's because it was a part exchange car and the customer wants to get rid because it was sort of scrap value to them. But the purpose of this is to show you, when you do get part exchanges and the car is a bit of junk, just take a bit of a chance on it if it's not a lot of money, because you're not going to lose anything. You can scrap the car yourself, you can sell it for parts, you can spares or repairs it on eBay or whatever. You'll get your money back out of it. But in this instance, the car is £370 all in, ready for sale. And coming on to my next point, I decided that I'm going to retail the car because the car is actually a very good one. So rather than me chuck it out to the trader, make a few £100, I thought, let me just put it on Auto Trader, get it up at 14.95. You know, it's got 12 months MOT, facelift Focus. That is a lot of car for the money, and I think it's a very, very competitive price. And I believe it is as well, because I've got a customer coming today to view the car, and I'm going to keep you guys posted on that after this point. So fingers crossed, we've got a sale on our hands, but the customer should be getting here in the next sort of half an hour. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to get that viewing done, and I'm going to get back to this video with the ending to let you know how things have gone. So I'm going to see you in about an hour. Right guys, we're back from the viewing. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. So good news, the car is sold. Nice, easy sell. Top guy, he came all the way from Bristol and I picked him up from the train station. Loved the car, took it at the full value at 14.95, as you would. Good car, nice, easy sell. So let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's talk about the profit involved in the car. So as I mentioned earlier, it was £370 is what the car owed me. And obviously I had to advertise the car. I did sell in a week, but it still cost me about £20. So the car owed me £390. Take that off from what I sold it for, £14.95. So we're looking at a pre-tax profit of £1,105. Now to me, that's fantastic. When you look at the investment put into it, £390, to come out and make that profit on top, absolutely fantastic. So moral of today's video, guys, is don't say no to PXs. If you get a part exchange and it doesn't fit your criteria, as long as the price is right, go for it. There's definitely value to be added, and today's video hopefully shows you that. And even if the car isn't what you're looking for and the price is right, you're not going to lose. You can obviously scrap the car if it is cheap enough, or if it's a more expensive car but you got it at a fantastic price, you're not losing. You can sell it as spares or repairs, you can sell it on eBay and get your money back out of it. As long as it's at trade value, you're not really going to lose out, as long as the car's not drastically broken. But educate yourself, know what you're buying, spend time, do your homework, and as long as the price is right, you'll be okay. So on that positive note, guys, I'm going to end today's video here. I really hope it's been insightful and given you a bit of a nitty-gritty into the sort of the profit margins and costings involved, because I know you guys like to see that. So hopefully that's come through on the video today. But I'm going to end it here, guys. Thank you so much again for watching, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Take care, guys.